Welcome to episode 6 of Travelling Around Europe in a Car with Molly and Rhys. In this episode we will be exploring the glamorous Biarritz and Bayonne. We waved goodbye to Maisie and Paul, who headed home as we headed west towards the coast. After 5 amazing days in the Pyrenees, Biarritz had some pretty big shoes to fill. Our first stop was Pau, a city about the same size as Wrexham, where we did a bit of sightseeing and shopping as Molly went to the 50th Sephora of the trip so far. An hour later, we arrived at the location of our next Airbnb for the next 2 nights, Hasparren, a small town about the same size as Ruthin. We arrived hungry and asked the owners for their recommendations. They said the pizza was really good, so we headed down to town, ordered and took the piping hot pizzas back to the little studio we had on the outskirts of town. To be fair, they were really nice, just what we needed after a long day travelling. Day 22 was the only full day we had, so it was just typical that it was chucking it down in the morning. It was supposed to clear up by the afternoon, so we watched a bit of Netflix and luckily the forecast was correct. We headed to Bayonne, a city in the Basque country. It was really pretty, filled with narrow medieval streets. We went into the Gothic style cathedral. Again, I really enjoyed the stained glass. It was a Sunday and the whole place was really quiet. Everywhere was basically closed, but we didn't mind. It was quite nice just walking around, admiring the buildings and streets. Next up was the one I was most excited for. I had heard the Biarritz was a cool, glamorous place, but really didn't know what to expect. We arrived and the beaches were incredible. Makes sense that it's known for its surfing. We walked along the coast in awe of the beautiful colour of the sea, a totally different vibe than the nearby Bayonne. In contrast, it was packed in Biarritz, very busy and crowded. We headed into town to try and escape the crowds and landed in an ice cream shop. Too many flavours to choose from. I asked the owner what she would recommend. They made the coffee flavour using the remains of the ground coffee. I was expecting a grainy, bitter taste, but it was unbelievable. Such a fresh flavour. Definitely top 3 ice creams I've ever had. Molly had chocolate flavoured ice cream that she described as very tasty but wouldn't make her top 3. We then passed the casino, tempted to enter but remembering we were on a budget and maybe we'll have another chance to visit the casino later on in our travels. We then went back to the beach where we had parked and headed to our last location of the day, Saint-Jean-de-Luz, a fishing town about the size of Bangor, located near the border of Spain. Another beautiful town that had its own character. We walked along the beach and through the town centre, popping into different shops along the way. One store caught my attention, a store selling what looked like caramel bites. It was a cannoli, described as a small French pastry flavoured with rum and vanilla, with a soft and tender custard centre and a dark, thick caramelised crust. Unfortunately, the one I had tasted like trash. So we have a cannoli. I'll insert what it's called, I don't know. 50 cents. Squidgy, it's just a bit like sours alcohol. Not for me, 4 out of 10, sorry guys. The taste of the cannoli spoiling my appetite, we headed back to the Airbnb. Day 23 arrived and was our last day in France for now. I desperately needed new shoes as the only pair I had packed with me were a pair of Salomon walking shoes I got when I was in year 9. First we tried Intersport Outlet, usually a reliable sports store that reminded me a bit of the old JJB Sports. What a shop. But the outlet was a real letdown. So we went to the Nike outlet down the road and they had these trail shoes on offer for €60. I love a bargain, so grabbed them and left France for Spain. Next time, as we spend our first days in Spain, will the 180-day streak learning Spanish on Duolingo help us get by? Tune in next time to find out.